Wisconsin's #1 rated sports station on Philadelphia radio. Sports Radio 94, WIP. Live from the Tasty Cake Studios.
Mike and Ike Show. Thank you for being with us. Going to 1 o'clock strong, and then it's the afternoon program coming your way. Joining us in studio right now, and we do thank Katie Beaver. She's with us every week at 11:40 or so with the Beaver List, and great one this week as she came up with the top 5 girlfriends or wives of athletes. And number 1 is Gisele Bündchen. But we move on to who might be number 1 in tonight's NBA draft. Looks like it's going to be Karl Anthony Townsend joining us, the managing editor for Liberty Ballers. He will be at the draft tonight. He's stopping by in studio beforehand. Jake Pavorsky. Jake, man, what's up, buddy?
How's it going, guys?
You're looking good, man, with the tie.
What's up, Jake?
I appreciate
Ready to
that.
go. You know it.
He's on his way to Brooklyn.
Not Decker, New York. So now you, is a draft, is a permanent home there in Brooklyn now, or what?
It's been there the past couple years. As far as I know, it was either the past 2 or 3 years it's been in Brooklyn.
Right. And do they have any intention, a la the NFL this year or the NHL, to rotate it to other cities?
Not that I know of. It used to be in Madison Square Garden, but as of right now, it's in Brooklyn, and it sounds like that's going to be its home for a little bit.
I want to see it come to Philadelphia, man. I want our shot at the NBA draft and the NFL draft, for that matter. It would be cool. I want you to put a word in
it would
tonight.
only be cool if we were drafting in the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't need the NBA draft to be here if I'm selecting 23, 24, because there's no excitement for the Philadelphia fans there.
I think there would be excitement in what it brings to the city, and just having, like, what do they have at the Super Bowl? The fan experience.
Yeah.
You could bring that with the draft as well. And you could. I think it would
the
be
players
cool.
would be in town. You could see them about town.
And it would bring people to Philadelphia. It would show off each individual city as it rotated around. But that's just a
But not the Sixers fan would be happy.
The Sixers fans might maybe.
I mean, if we're not taking a player, and we can't get one of these lottery guys that are going to be running around our town for draft day.
Right. Yeah.
I guess it would mean we are a better team because we're drafting at the end of the draft.
Absolutely.
You need a high pick, though, for it to make sense.
Yeah. So Jake, man, rumors that you have heard that you think might come to pass.
This man is well connected.
This man is well connected. Things that you think are going on with any of the selections for tonight.
Well, last week the word was the Sixers were high on Porzingis. This week it is they're high on Russell, and they're leaning towards taking him. I think it's really a toss-up. I would say right now that the odds are that it's 60% they take Russell and 40% they take Porzingis. But I really think that the Sacramento trade with the Lakers possibly involving DeMarcus Cousins could really throw the Sixers through a loop.
In what way?
The rumored offer right now is that Sacramento would send DeMarcus Cousins to L.A., and L.A. would send back the 2nd overall pick, Julius Randle, and Jordan Clarkson. And although Sacramento is now getting rid of their big post guy, Julius Randle comes into Sacramento, he would play in the low post, and they also are without a point guard. So there's a very good chance that they could take D'Angelo Russell. If D'Angelo Russell's there on the board at 3, I would like to think the Sixers would take him, and I would say that they would take him. But until Adam Silver calls his name with the Sixers pick, I think it's a toss-up, and I won't be convinced that they're taking him until I hear it.
Mm-hmm. Is there any other player in the draft that you think that if the Sixers come away with at 3 or at the end of the night where you'd say, okay, they did all right for themselves?
I think Emmanuel Mudiay would be one of those guys. Very talented. A lot of people didn't get to see him play overseas, but he's improved his shooting a lot over the past year. If you look at his release, it used to be stiff and his elbow and stuff like that. He's good at following through now. He shot the 3 ball at 34%, which isn't great, but it shows promise. I think he's very athletic. He's an extremely good passer, and there's a lot of things you could work with him in Philadelphia, and I think he'd be a good pick. Kristaps Porzingis, on the other hand, I wouldn't be in love with that pick, but he's got a lot of upside, and I think there's something to work with him offensively.
Mm-hmm. We've discussed the top 5, top 6 players ad nauseum. I mean, we know the Sixers are going to get one of those guys as long as they stay at number 3. Are you hearing anything pertaining to the Sixers trying to get back into that first round late in the first round with those second-round draft picks, or possibly using next year's first-round pick to get somewhere else in that first round?
I think they'd like a couple of those second-round picks to get back in the first round. Alex Kennedy from Basketball Insiders reported the Sixers were talking to the Portland Trailblazers at 23 and trading picks 35 and 37 to get to 23. I've heard they've tried to get as high as 16. So there's going to be a lot of conversation. I think nothing will happen until the middle of the draft when they see who's on the board there. A couple of the guys I'd like to target would be Jerrion Grant from Notre Dame, who's really good. He can play on ball, he can play off ball. And if the Sixers take Russell at 3, I think that would be a really good backcourt pairing. He can defend pretty well. He can pass. He can shoot. He'd be perfect. Justin Anderson from Virginia is another guy that I really like. Really shot the ball well this year. Has improved greatly throughout his career at Virginia. Great defender, pretty good rebounder. He He would fit the mold of a really good wing here in Philadelphia where they need the shooting, but the Sixers really value a good defender, and he would be that kind of guy.
He just got a tweet out here from the former Duke star, the former Chicago Bull, now with ESPN as an analyst, Jay Williams, who tweeted, D'Angelo Russell to the Los Angeles Lakers with the second pick is what a source told me. Now, I don't know how plugged in he is or is not.
Interesting timing. I think at this point in the year, there's a lot of misdirection. You know, people are putting out different reports. There's something yesterday or the other day from Ken Berger at CBS. The Sixers would need to trade up to get Russell. People were just trying to bait other teams into getting up. I think the Sixers were partially doing some of the same with their interest in Porzingis, trying to get Orlando at 5 to trade up. So there's a lot of stuff going on. There's only so much you can believe. At this point, your best thing to do is try and tune it out and then just go into the draft and hope the best things come out of it.
So Mitch Kupchak out there with L.A. could be sending out smoke signals to try to entice the Sixers to jump up there at 2, or maybe the Knicks to jump up there at 2. They don't really want D'Angelo Russell. Is that what may be going on here? They're trying to accumulate some other picks somewhere?
It's a possibility that they like him, and I think they probably do, but I think their love of D'Angelo Russell is probably a bit overstated, because I really think that they would like to be able to move down, maybe even just a spot, collect some assets, and still get who's ever left of Russell and Okafor and walk away very happy. I think the Sixers' best bet is probably to stand pat and hope it works out for them that Russell falls. But either way, at 3, I think they're in a really good spot to get some top talent.
The reason I don't think the Sixers will fall victim to a bluff is Sam Hinkie's word that he has used several times before, which is optionality. And I think Sam Hinkie's the type of guy, seemingly, Jake, you tell me what you think. It's like, hey, okay, fine. I'm not trading up to get him. If you're going to hold that over my head, like you're going to take him, take him.
Right.
We'll take Azonia, we'll take Porzingis, we'll take Moutier. We got optionality. What do you think?
Yeah, Sam's not a guy that gets strong-armed. He usually does that to other teams. I think there's going to be conversations with other teams, but I don't think they'll get that far. They could trade down. I think that might be a possibility, but their best bet is to stand at 3 and take the best player available, whether that's Russell, whether that's Okafor or Porzingis. They need to take the best guy on the board at 3, and I think that's what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. When you look at some of the other players that might be taken in the second round, is there value in the second round that the Sixers could get that would stick around for a while?
I do. I think there's some good players. Unfortunately, the second round isn't nearly as deep as last year's, but there are a couple guys that I like. Michael Qualls from Arkansas was a player I really liked. He played in the SEC. Unfortunately, tore his ACL during a pre-draft workout, but ACL injuries have never scared the Sixers away. A really good dunker. He's got a decent shooting form that he can work on and improve him to be a 3-and-D player. Another guy in that mold would be J.P. Tokoto from UNC. A decent three-point shot, super athletic, very good defender. He's another guy that they could possibly take in the second round, would really fit their mold. And there could be a couple draft and stash guys. Mouhamadou Diatta from France is a big man.
Mouhamadou Diatta.
Yeah, they worked him out before the draft. Decent post game, good rebounder. He's a guy who could probably stay overseas a couple years and then come over eventually. But I think they'll hold on to a couple of those second round picks and try and draft a wing player, and then maybe stash one and trade a couple.
Talking to the managing editor of Liberty Ballers, who's good enough to stop by, Jake Pavorsky. He'll be at the draft tonight. Chances Dario Saric's rights get moved tonight?
I say it's unlikely. I'll say 20% chance that he gets moved. I think that they're committed to him. I think that they've shown that just from going over to visit him. Brett Brown spent a week with him in Turkey this year after the season ended. It seems like they really want him to be a part of this team coming forward. And I very much believe that he will come over, whether it's next year or whether it's in 2017. I really think he's going to play in Philadelphia and definitely play in the NBA.
Wow. Okay. I like that. By the way, if you want to hop on, Jake's going to be sitting in with us for the next couple of minutes. Pound 9494 on your AT&T Verizon cell phone, or 888-729-9494 on a landline. I mentioned.
I got a player in the second round that I want to know. Hey, Joe Young, mighty Joe Young.
Yeah.
Oregon.
Joe's a good shooter. There was talk about him going to Los Angeles. He's not that athletic of a guy, but I think at the end of the second round, I think he could be a decent option where you could turn him into a decent shooter to guard and see what comes out of him. There's a chance he could be undrafted, and the Sixers could throw him a summer league invite. There's going to be a lot of guys that they'll throw invites to, and he could be one of those.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. I watched him play a couple times, and believe me, you don't get to see very many Oregon basketball games, but for some reason I'm watching the damn Pac-12 basketball game, and that's who they're playing. Oregon. It might have been Arizona and Oregon I was watching late, and I mean, he seems like he can get a shot when he wants to. He can fill it up a little bit, Reminds me of a poor man's Kemba Walker, that type of a player. I'm just wondering, can he be a guy that runs your second unit and can be a scorer at that point? You think you see him as a point or a two? You see him as a two guard?
I think I'd probably play him off ball. I don't think he really gets in the paint enough. I think he's more of a shooter. But he was the best shooter on Oregon's team, but I don't know. Maybe there's a little duck bias, right? Little more duck bias in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
bring him in there.
Believe me, I'm the last one that would have duck bias around here.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, I don't have that duck bias around here.
To be sure. And finally, talking to Jake Pavorsky from
Especially
Liberty
for the basketball
Ballers.
team.
Right.
Yeah. What's it like being up there for the draft? What kind of a zoo is it?
It's a lot of fun. Last year, when the Sixers had the 3rd pick and the 10th pick, Sixers fan really packed that place. I remember sitting there when the Sixers selected KJ McDaniels. KJ was sitting in the stands, and he came down to the stand, and fans started chanting KJ, and it was electric. The place was literally filled with KJ chants. So Sixers fans do a really good job of packing that place, and it's an exciting environment, and it's a great place to be, and I'm looking forward to being back there tonight.
Hang on one second.
Wait till they call out Russell's name tonight and watch
Yeah.
and see
Oh my goodness.
It's gonna blow up.
Yeah. We do have some folks who want to talk to you. Let's go to Zach. What's up, Zach? Zach,
How you doing, guys?
How you doing, buddy? What's on your mind?
What's up, Zach?
What's up, guys? I want to talk about the draft tonight.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thinking, I'm reading some stuff that if Okafor slips, Boston's preparing a monster offer for us three. What do you guys think about that?
That if Okafor slips, that Boston is preparing a monster package for us. What do you think of that, Jake?
I think it's silly. There was a report yesterday that Boston had offered Marcus Smart 16-28 and Kelly Olynyk, and they wanted back not only the 3rd overall pick, they wanted Nerlens Noel. That's an insulting offer from Danny Ainge. I don't know what he was thinking about that. But they really don't have any assets outside of mid-first round picks. And to the Sixers to move down from 3 just to get that is not enticing, and there's no reason for them to do that deal with Boston. So I would completely throw that off the table.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to Bucks County, talk to Rob. What's up, Robbie?
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm nervous about tonight.
Yeah, I think we all are a little bit.
I just read a report from BleacherReport.com saying that the Lakers are now swinging more towards Russell, and I don't know what to think. I mean, can the Sixers trade for the number 1 picks, give 3 for 1, and then maybe throw in a couple other picks to ensure that we get Russell? Is that possible?
I wouldn't do that. I would stand pat at 3. Listen, at this point, there are so many reports going around that are ridiculous. If you're listening to a report right now that a team is going to take someone, it's probably a misdirection. I just wouldn't put stock in a lot of things right now, and I would just wait until the draft. But what the Sixers should do is stand pat. I think a lot of teams are going to try and strong arm them, specifically the Lakers, and their best bet is to stand still because I think D'Angelo Russell will be there.
How much do you think teams pay attention to this stuff? Do you think teams are reading Yahoo Sports and ESPN.com and USA Today and CSNPhilly.com and all the websites?
No chance. I mean, they'll see it, but they're having conversations with these teams anyway. They'll know what they like, and they know what the offers are. So this other stuff is nonsense, really.
Let's take Rick off the phone. What's up, Rick? Ricky.
Hey, guys.
What's up, bud?
I just wanted to call in. I really love the show.
Thank you.
I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on a potential second-round pick. Jabril Traulick out of Georgetown. He's from Philly. I know Sixers love their local guys. I don't know. Did you guys... Maybe you can see him.
Somebody grab Elon, man.
Taking them late round, or
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let me just say this, Rick. He's a guy that has not been discussed by by Elon Vinokurov nor Jake Pavorsky or any. We talk about the kid who played for Arizona, certainly Rondé Hollis Jefferson and Raheem Christmas from Syracuse. Other than that,
Jabril's probably a guy that goes undrafted. I don't think there's a lot of talent there to select in the second round. I think there's a lot more talented guys there. Pat Connaughton from Notre Dame is a guy that they could take.
Yeah, shooter.
He's a shooter. They could turn him into a 3-and-D guy. He's very athletic too. He had the highest vert at the NBA draft combine with 44 inches.
Unbelievable, man.
It's not even sneaky athletic. He's shown that athleticism all season long, and he's a guy that the Sixers are apparently high on and could take us with a second-round pick. But I think Jabril's going to be an undrafted free agent, and he'll sign a summer league deal somewhere.
Jake, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, brother.
We want to hear about it tomorrow.
Absolutely.
We look forward to your reportage from the draft tonight for Liberty Ballers. The managing editor of Liberty Ballers, Jake Pavorsky. We always appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you.
Thank you.
We'll see you later. Have a great night. WIP Sports Time. We're back with your phone calls. Open line for you, pound 9494. It's drafty in here. It's the NBA draft tonight. And the Sixers currently with the number 3 pick overall. WIP Sports Time. Mike and Ike Show, 1219.